of the Rowe-Thrush live stream interview series. My name is Mark Winters with Rowe-Thrush. For those not familiar with Rowe-Thrush, Rowe-Thrush is a manufacturer's representative that specializes in Grainger, providing sales, marketing, and business development services. Today, we represent over 60 brands sold by Grainger in various product categories, such as lighting and electrical, plumbing, HVAC and refrigeration, material handling, safety and security, hand tools, janitorial, raw materials, packaging supplies, law enforcement, and public safety. Today, we're proud to represent Lutron Electronics and welcome Tom Shearer to this live stream interview. Hey, Tom, how's it going?
I'm well, Mark. How are you?
Good. Looking forward to the holiday weekend.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you being. Let's get into it. Can you introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been with Lutron and what you currently do for Lutron?
I've been with Lutron for more than 20 years. My background's in power electronics and power conversion. I'm an electrical engineer. I developed fluorescent dimming ballasts and our first families of LED drivers, and I currently work as part of our commercial business, developing systems and applications in order to meet the needs of customers with cutting-edge lighting designs as the industry continues to innovate.
Awesome. And we will get into the details of how Lutron and yourself can work with the Grainger sales force in just a few. Can you tell us a little bit more about Lutron and what product solutions they provide working with Grainger?
Sure. Lutron was founded in 1961 by Joel Spira, who commercialized the first solid-state dimmer as in a residential application and created the category of lighting controls. Lutron has developed ever since and moved from residential into both residential and commercial lighting controls and shades and services. In the 70s, Lutron created the first fluorescent dimming ballasts and then commercial lighting control systems to control multiple zones of light. And ever since has been expanding into digital systems in the early 21st century, and now has wired and wireless lighting controls for virtually any scale of system.
Very nice. So what Grainger customer segments do Lutron products fit into?
So virtually everything that Grainger serves today, right? We work with certainly with manufacturers and manufacturing facilities for automated systems, healthcare facilities, government installations, certainly military installations as well. Higher education campuses, college campuses, and K through 12. Certainly property management, large business developments and large property developments like the Hudson Yards in New York. Hospitality, hotels and resorts and restaurants, and certainly multifamily dwellings with both commercial and residential lighting systems.
Yeah. And there's also a Lutron lighting control system in Grainger's headquarters in Lake Forest, Illinois.
Excellent.
Well. We've worked on that project. So what are some customer challenges that Lutron products provide solutions for?
It's interesting. Since Lutron has been selling lighting control systems for such a long time, and because we have high quality products and long lasting products, there are a lot of systems that have been installed over the years that are still operating today. So there are literally millions of fluorescent dimming ballasts that are installed on Lutron systems that are working fine today, but customers want to upgrade those systems from fluorescent to LED lighting. And we work with a lot of those customers on a daily basis in order to help them upgrade their lighting control systems, but keep the same performance so that the smooth, continuous, flicker-free dimming and integration with shades and all of the automated functions are still there.
Yeah, the one thing I love about Lutron is you can upgrade from a linear fluorescent lamp to an LED lamp and save a lot of energy that way. But when you add a lighting control, it takes the energy savings to a whole nother level.
That's exactly correct. You can save, 60% of your energy, whatever energy that you're using, but you can cut the energy usage virtually in half, if not more, when you convert from fluorescent to LED. Not to mention the fact that you save all of the other burdens and challenges associated with fluorescent lighting.
So sustainability, cost savings, and then there's also a productivity play, right?
That's right. When employees in a space are able to create the light level that meets their own needs, whether it's for video conferencing or drafting or writing software, they're more productive. They're more comfortable and more productive in their own space. And when there are systems that include daylighting, if the system works smoothly and continuously and doesn't distract the users, they're able to be more productive, and the energy savings in the space is improved.
So daylighting is when you lower the light level and utilize more outside light,
That's
correct?
right. That's right.
Awesome.
And so one of the things that happens is if the lighting in the space only dims to say 10%, and there's a lot of light coming in from the window, what can happen is the lights will dim down to 10% and then they'll shut off. If they shut off from too high a light level, the people in the space can be distracted and think that there's something wrong, and then they go and they override the daylighting system, and so all of the energy savings is lost and the productivity is lost. So if
Sure.
the whole things happen smoothly and the people aren't aware of what's going on with the system, it works better. People can be more productive, and you can save energy.
And from an installation standpoint, I know we've got a really good video up on Granger.com that shows a side-by-side comparison of installing a wired device and a Lutron wireless product.
That's right.
It's really like a 15-to-1 ratio, if I remember right.
Absolutely. The ability to add wireless controls and additional sensors into a space wirelessly is very, very valuable. I've run into lots of situations where there's an unexpected need for an additional control, whether it's a wall station or an occupant sensor, and the ability to take the product out of the box, push a couple of buttons, and add that functionality literally in minutes is incredibly valuable. Sometimes when you're in California and a Title 24 inspector is walking through the space and says, you need a wall control over there.
Sure.
And by the time they finish the inspection, you can come back and show that it's already been installed is incredibly helpful.
All right. So if I put myself in the shoes of a Granger seller, what should I be looking for to identify if a Lutron upgrade opportunity exists?
Sure. In the most basic sense, if you see Lutron on the wall, right, you see Lutron controls on the wall or in the electrical closet, and you see fluorescent lighting in the ceiling, there is an opportunity to replace the fluorescent lighting with LED lighting, whether we're talking about a retrofit fixture or new fixtures, or a retrofit kit to keep the same fixtures in place. Lots of Lutron systems are installed in spaces that are designed by a lighting designer. Lighting designers don't use just common 2x4 troffers. They use beautiful suspended pendant fixtures with spotlights and decorative sconces and other kinds of fixtures. I like to say that a lighting designer isn't going to design a space with one fixture when they can use 17 fixtures. And so the ability to replace all of the fluorescent lighting in all of the fixtures installed in the space is very powerful, and that's a great opportunity that brings a lot of value to the customer. So if there's a Lutron ballast installed on a Lutron system, there is a guaranteed way to replace it with an LED version and an LED driver. Meet the code, save the energy, and get rid of all the burdens of using fluorescent lighting.
That's interesting. So there's two options. So you can actually three options. You can replace the existing ballast, keep your fluorescent.
Yep.
You can replace the entire fixture, which is costly and takes more installation time,
Yes.
more maintenance, obviously. Or the retrofit kit allows you to basically do the upgrade without needing to break the ceiling plenum and maintain your system compatibility.
That's correct. And there's two important things to remember. The first is for the end user, if they don't have to change the lighting between the controller or the control system and the fixtures, they don't have to get an electrical contractor. They don't have to get a permit. They don't have to pull wire through the building. That saves a lot of time and expense in permitting that should be avoided if possible. The second is, if you don't have to go up into the ceiling, that can save a lot of customers a lot of trouble. if you imagine in the healthcare scenario, going up into the ceiling requires a lot of process, post activity cleaning and other things to maintain the cleanliness of the space. However, these fixtures are designed to be maintained, ballast replacements and lamp replacements, just as an ordinary part of maintaining the lighting. So the ability to upgrade the fixture from fluorescent to LED without changing the wiring between the control and the fixture, and without going into the ceiling space, can be a very, very valuable proposition for the customer to save their energy, get all the benefits, but without having to completely upend their building.
Definitely. So obviously, Lutron solutions are relevant to any facility manager tasked with reducing energy costs or maintaining an existing lighting control system.
That's right.
So let's get into how Lutron can help the Grainger sales force with these upgrade opportunities.
Sure. So the obviously, identifying a Lutron system, which is usually very easy, and then figuring out the opportunity if they have fluorescent lighting. We have yet to encounter anybody that's not eager to upgrade from fluorescent to LED, and in some areas they're mandated by a local energy code to replace fluorescent lighting with LED lighting or face tax consequences. So, identifying the lighting, getting a good understanding of how the lighting is controlled, and then coming up with a means of replacing the lighting at the customer's schedule, whether they want to do one fixture at a time or one zone at a time. It is certainly possible. And of course, Rowe-Thrush and Lutron are available to help at any point through this process, whether it's tech support or field service or myself or yourself, helping the customer figure out what the right thing to do is.
Absolutely.
And some of these benefits, the operating expense benefits, are huge. Today, right, the customer has to buy fluorescent lamps and store them and then install them. And then when they replace them, they have to recycle the fluorescent lamps in a way that's safe and secure. And if they break, the remediation is kind of a challenge. So that a lot of these customers are very eager to be done with that whole process.
Oh, I'm sure. And especially if they're getting motivated by, rebates and incentives or local code compliance.
That's right. That's right.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the benefits of the proprietary Lutron ecosystem?
Sure. In 2006, Lutron introduced a digital addressable lighting control system called Ecosystem. So between the controller and the fixture are two low voltage wires that sends a digital signal, and every driver or ballast in every fixture has a digital address. That allows the system to communicate in both directions, the status of the lamps and the energy being used and how the system is going to work. For instance, some of the fixtures will respond to the daylight sensor, and some of the fixtures will respond to an occupant sensor, and all of them will respond to a personal control. This also allows the power wiring to be completely independent of the control wiring. So if you have 120 volts or 277 volts or normal power or emergency power, the control wiring can be run to all the fixtures regardless. This is completely different than the common 0 to 10 volt lighting, where the low voltage signal sends just a standard DC voltage between 0 and 10 volts, and all of the fixtures on that loop respond at the same time. They all have to be on the same power feed. And if you want part of the system to respond differently, you have to physically rewire the system. And that can be very burdensome. So there's a lot of benefits to doing that. When we're upgrading fluorescent lighting to LED lighting, you have all of the same benefits, and an LED fixture can be addressed into the system just like a replacement ballast, and it's really quite easy.
And just to confirm, if a fixture was replaced with a non-Lutron ballast, that fixture connection would be broken, correct? With the existing lighting control system?
That's right. The only ballasts or drivers that work with Ecosystem are Lutron ballast, and LED drivers. Nobody else makes a product that works with this system. Now, that's a proprietary system. There's a lot of benefits to that in that they're all designed and supported by Lutron throughout their lifetime with our, well-earned reputation for quality and reliability. And so, that's the benefit of having the Lutron name in the ceiling.
All right. So can you tell us a little more about the different types of Lutron ballasts that may need to be replaced and how that influences the steps of the potential upgrade process?
Sure. I think it's worth going through a quick summary of all of the different common control types that people see in commercial lighting. The first and the most basic is what we call two-wire or phase control. This is based on Mr. Spear's original product, the phase control dimmer, where the two wires that go from the controller out to the fixture carry power and the dimming signal. So there's dimmed, hot, and neutral going from the dimmer out to all of the fixtures. They're what we call hardwired zones, so all the fixtures respond the same. And if you want to change something, you need to change the wiring. That's typically run on 120 volts only. The next increasing sophistication is three-wire. Lutron used to call this high lume dimming, where there's a switched hot wire in addition to the dimmed hot and neutral wire. The switched hot wire carries all of the power. These systems can run on 120 or 277 volts and offer high performance dimming with smooth, continuous, and flicker-free dimming in a commercial environment, and it can operate many more fixtures than on a traditional two-wire dimmer. There are lots and lots, literally millions of three-wire Lutron fluorescent dimming ballasts installed in North America today. The next common lighting control type is what we call 0 to 10 volt, where there's a DC 0 to 10 volt signal that goes from the controller out to all of the fixtures. All of the fixtures respond in kind, and the power has to be run along in the same circuit with the control wires. Lutron does not make fluorescent ballasts that are operated at 0 to 10 volt or LED drivers. There are lots of these controls in the market today, but Lutron supports them from a control standpoint, but not a ballast or driver standpoint. Lutron skipped over that control type and brought digital lighting into the industry, as we discussed before. So ecosystem, where there is hot and neutral brought out to every fixture, doesn't have to come from the same power feed, doesn't have to be the same voltage, and the controller sends a low voltage digital wire pair of wires out to every fixture, and then each fixture has its own digital address. So what I'm concerned with in my role today is replacing three-wire fluorescent dimming ballasts and ecosystem fluorescent dimming ballast with LED drivers and LED lighting retrofit kits.
Thank you for expanding on that. So you mentioned that Lutron has partners that offer retrofit solutions where existing lamps and ballasts can be replaced with LED lamps and LED drivers without breaking the ceiling plan. So an on-site, maintenance technician could do the swap out, basically. Yes. Can you tell us more about that solution?
Sure. Imagine a school that has suspended pendants in every classroom that are 24 feet long, so 3-4 foot sections, or troffer fixtures in the ceiling. If those fixtures are in great shape and the school doesn't want to reinvest in new fixtures or submit a project to bid for expanding the system, the maintenance staff, when a ballast goes out or approaches end of life, or just when they're ready to convert from fluorescent LED to save energy, the maintenance technician can go into the fixture just like they're replacing a ballast, take the ballast out and take the fluorescent lamps out, replace the ballast with an LED driver, and replace the lamps with LED lamps. Obviously, these have to be UL listed as a kit and are supported together from the manufacturer of the kit with the Lutron driver. So I think we'll quickly go through just the different kinds of ballasts that people are going to find in fixtures today, Lutron ballasts. For the 3-wire ballasts that we've seen that are very, very common, the prefix of the part number of the ballast kind of gives an indicator as to how it's been controlled. So ECO stands for original ECO 10. It's not to be confused with ecosystem, is a 3-wire dimming type. So is FDB, that's our 1% version of the 3-wire dimming type, and EC3, which is our 3-wire compact fluorescent dimming ballasts. All of these can be controlled by a 3-wire control system, can be replaced one fixture or driver at a time, or the whole loop at a time, whatever the customer wants. There's no programming or anything. You just install it and the system runs. You don't have to do anything to it. It just naturally, it works as they're designed to work together. The next type is EHD. That's our 1% H-series dimming ecosystem fluorescent dimming ballast. These have a digital address, and the retrofit kit can be replaced one for one with a ballast. It does need to be addressed into the system. Many of our customers know how to do this as a part of their regular maintenance. Of course, Lutron offers service if people want to do this in a larger scale. Next is 2-wire, usually at 120 volt only, more in a hospitality sense, or in restaurants. It's used pretty commonly. These are ballasts that have a dimmed hot and a neutral wire between the controller and the fixture, and are replaced one for one, just like FDB ballasts, and don't require any programming. They're all designed to work together seamlessly, and the LED driver will work as part of the system along with the ballasts with no disruption. And last but not least are Lutron's most sophisticated versions of ecosystem digitally addressable ballasts. These are EC5 ballasts, that some of which have sensors wired into them from our original ecosystem controls, where we offered low voltage sensors that wire directly into the ballasts. That's for linears. And then we have ecosystem compact ballasts, and then digital only ecosystem ballasts. And we've got some of the Grainger part numbers and the Lutron part numbers that are in red there.
Yep.
Those should be supported by Lutron service if they're going to be installed in large numbers, just to help the customer make sure that the whole thing is addressed properly and will work as expected from the first day that they're installed, and to make sure everything is buttoned up nicely and works properly.
Yeah, so as Tom mentioned, a couple of Grainger item numbers shown on this slide. There are still a significant offering of ballast, ecosystem ballasts available through Grainger. And if a customer wants to replace one ballast, they still can do so. But if they're interested in that conversion from linear fluorescent to LED, there is another solution. Right, Tom?
That's right. That's right. For anywhere you have a Lutron ballast, if you want to change to LEDs, there are multiple solutions, and Lutron and Rowe-Thrush can work with you to provide the customer options for a system that will meet their needs and look exactly the way it did before, and dim better and perform better and save energy.
So this slide shows an example of that solution, and you actually have a couple of the lamps on hand, right?
That's right. So so as I'd mentioned before, right, a lighting designer isn't going to design a space with one fixture when they can use 17. And one of the things that I've learned in the last couple of years is that, you know, these spaces where we find Lutron are usually premium spaces, and it's not just 2x4 troffers. You've got sconces, and you've got decorative lighting fixtures and pendants and other things. And that means you've got lamps that are not just 4-foot lamps. You got 2-foot and 3-foot and 4-foot lamps, and not just not just T8s. You got T5s, and you've got biax lamps. And so having a solution to address all of those is really important in order to make sure that you can walk into a space and say, anywhere you've got Lutron, I can upgrade you from fluorescent to LED without a problem. As an example, this is a compact fluorescent lamp. This is an LED compact lamp that's designed to interface with a fluorescent socket. So it plugs right in. Obviously, it can rotate in order to face in the proper direction, whether it's in a sconce or in a horizontal position. Obviously, it comes with a lens, so it looks like like a beautiful fluorescent lamp. But there are also T5 versions that have, these are glass lamps that give the same form, fit, and function. They look just like the fluorescent lighting that you had installed before. These allow the customer to have an easy to use solution that fits with all of the parts and pieces in the fixture they already have. The appropriate spacing of the pins that go into the lamp sockets, and you can have the right color temperature that matches what the customer has installed. Those are very valuable in order to allow the customer to upgrade their lighting, and get all the energy savings and all the other benefits, but without disrupting the users in the space.
So the appearance of the actual lamp doesn't change, but the light quality is equal to or better.
That is exactly
changing
correct.
to LED.
Yeah. Now it's interesting you mentioned that the LED lamps have a much tighter spec in the color space that fluorescent lamps didn't have before, and have really fallen short in recent years. So, I think everybody has seen that that building where you've got a long row of fluorescent lighting, and some of the lamps look a little green and some look a little yellow, and some are dimmer than others, and it's just not right. The LED lamps are usually dead nuts, the same color temperature, and even when everything is basically the same, it typically, the space looks more beautiful and refreshed, and generally people are very, very excited about that.
And a longer lifetime.
And you've taken all the critical elements of the fixture, the lamp and the ballast, right? And you've replaced them with new products that have a long warranty, hopefully at least a 5-year warranty. That's a very, very valuable thing for the maintenance staff and the building owner.
Absolutely. All right. So what's the call to action, the next steps, right? If you identify an existing Lutron ballast that needs to be replaced or upgraded, please contact us, and we will help you find the best solution to offer to your end customer. We have field sales support that can also assist, and we have had success working with Granger Lighting Services on projects as well. Do we have any other questions? All right.
So I saw a question about Title 24.
Yep.
Right. Title 24 refers to an energy code in California, which is, if you're outside of California, really isn't necessary. But there are certainly common energy savings requirements, sweeping the nation. So Title 24 is a very, very stringent California energy code that requires fixtures and retrofit kits to be labeled with how much energy they consume and how they work together. But certainly we have things in New York City. By the end of 2024, everything that's greater than 25,000 square feet needs to have converted from fluorescent to LED, or they face stiff penalties. And then in the upper northeast, there's a lot of things like this moving very rapidly.
So customers are motivated to convert them, or they will be.
That's right. And speaking of LED lighting, I have a question. What is my favorite movie and why?
Yeah. So James always asks that when he hosts these interviews.
Well, I'm really glad he's asked, because I have that answer at the tip of my tongue. And I guess I'm probably going to have to go with 12 Angry Men, the original version, the original black and white version. And the reason is that even the lighting in that film played a role as you took, the 12 Angry Men is a classic movie about a jury that goes through all the processes of prejudice and understanding and consideration of the evidence. And as the mood of the jury goes, the whole thing takes place in one room. And the lighting itself actually it plays a role in what's going on in the minds of the jury. So I hope that's an acceptable answer.
That is acceptable by me. Are there any other questions?
Not that we see here, but I think that the answer that I would have for anyone is that if you see a Lutron fluorescent dimming ballast, there's a way to upgrade that to LEDs. Mark and I are certainly here to support you and there are many options for the customer to get what they need, get all the energy savings, and it's all supported, all supported by Lutron, and so it's certainly achievable.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're here to help. It is definitely not an intimidating sale. We've got, various tools and resources to assist you. And like I said, we've got partners as well in field sales support if needed. So no other questions, it looks like. So I will say thank you to Tom for joining us and wish you a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Mark, and it's a pleasure speaking with you, and a great weekend to you as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you. So the next live stream interview will be next Friday, April 22nd, with Brian Banducci from United Shield. United Shield offers personal ballistic and fragmentation protection, riot gear, for government customers. So please be sure to join us for that. Thank you for joining us today, and take care.
Take care, everybody.